Hi guys, it's Katie. I'm here tonight. I am doing the February virtual paint party, and so if you're watching this now, you're watching the replay. I just want to welcome you. I'm going to get a few things set up and wait for a few people to join us. If you are watching this though, go ahead and share it. That would be awesome. I'm just going to get logged on here so that I can see comments, and that's make sure that, whoops, this is different. Okay, that's me. So, we are doing the virtual paint party. There we are. And what this is this is a kit that I send out each month, and then we paint it together over Facebook Live. So if you got this kit last month, you'll have your little goodies and we will paint it together. If you can't make it to the live video, you will be able to watch it anytime. So let me see if I can get on here. It's just not working for me. Get to this page. Probably because this is not loading. That's why. Okay. So I'm not going to worry about that tonight. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Shoot. Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay, whatever. Okay, so virtual paint party is a monthly subscription that you will get sent to you. So if you can't make it to one of my DIY events here locally and you want to do something anyway, you can order your virtual paint kit and I will send it to you, and then you can paint along with me when I do the live video. If you can't make it the particular night that we do the live video, that's totally fine. You can watch it again on your own whenever you have time and paint along with me. If you happen to catch me live, I will be able to help you with questions or anything like that. And it's just kind of a fun thing to do. So I'm going to kind of briefly show you guys what was in the February kit, which is what we're doing tonight. And then I will share with you the design that will be available for March. And you'll be able to start ordering that on Friday. And I'll make sure that I put a link in the bottom of this video on Friday, but it'll also be on my Facebook page on Friday. So you can start ordering the March kit, and then you will be notified of when we go live. It'll probably be around the 10th. I tried to do it on a Monday night this time, and that just didn't work. So, okay, so of course you're gonna get your wood. This is the wood piece that you're gonna get. It's about 11.5 inches squared. And then this was our design for this month. The She Believed She Could, So She Did saying. And you're gonna get a paintbrush, and I forgot to grab these out. And then you're gonna get 2 makeup sponges so that you can paint your color on. And then you're gonna get your base paint, which is just a bottle of the white paint. You're gonna have lots of this left over, and you're probably gonna have lots of paint left over. These are the 2 colors that we got this month too. It's like a baby pink blush and then the blue. So you get all of that stuff. The only thing that you are going to need in order to do it, the only main thing that you're going to need is probably a good pair of tweezers or a needle or something that's fairly sharp to help with your weeding. You may want a ruler if you want things to be lined up straight. And then some sort of little card or something. Like I suggested in the instructions an old gift card. If you have an old gift card or an old debit card, that's what you'll use to adhere your stencil down. So everything else is going to be included in the kit, and then you'll be able to put it together. You'll just need to grab a couple of things. So I'm gonna change the view of the camera, and I just realized that it's all gonna be backwards. So let's flip it and make sure we don't get any funny thing. And then I'm just gonna tilt the camera down so that you guys can see the project. There we go. Perfect. All right, so again, this is what came in the kit. You get the stencil, the wood, your paintbrush, and your paint, and your makeup sponges. And the only thing that you're gonna need is a good pair of tweezers, something that you can rub your stencil on, and possibly a ruler. Oh, and I did want to share with you guys what the March design is going to be. And the only reason why this one is just blue is because it doesn't have the transfer tape on. So you're going to get everything else. It's going to be different colors, and all of this will be posted on Friday. If you're interested in getting this virtual paint kit sent to you, I'll have more information up on Friday. This will be the design that we're doing, and you can order that and have that sent to you. So I'm going to get started because there's lots of watching paint dry. And then I went to grab this and didn't grab it. So I have lots of leftover egg crates, and so that's all I'm using is to put my white paint in. And then I'm just going to use my paintbrush and paint the base coat on there. And we'll get that part done. And it may take a couple of coats. Depends on, I guess, how you want it to look. But I like to put 2 coats on there and make sure that there's a good coverage of paint. So if you guys have your paint kit and you're painting along, you'll want to start getting your white base coat down. So I just thought that this would be something fun. Sometimes my DIY events don't work out for everyone's time schedule. I have a lot of people who are interested that don't live around here, and so I thought sending the paint kit to you each month would be kind of fun, and then we could just pop on here on Facebook and paint it together. And then you don't have to get dressed up. I don't have to get dressed up. We can stay in our pajamas if we want to. You can pour yourself a glass of wine if you want to. You could do whatever. You could paint it in the convenience of your own home at your own time frame. So definitely doesn't have to be done the night that we do it live. Like I said, these are all going to be saved, and you can do it on your own time frame. But they're just kind of fun. Just kind of something fun to do. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I will get just a little smidge more white because I think I'm going to do another layer. I do have, let's see, my next event, I was going to have one Thursday. It's just not working out this week, and that's what happens sometimes. So I am in the middle of changing jobs. So today was my last day at my old job, and then tomorrow will be my first day at my new job. So this week has been kind of crazy and chaotic, but wrestling season is done, and so there's going to be a little bit less running around to do. So I will have some more time to get a few things done. I have some other projects that are sitting here that I want to share videos with you guys on. And so I have way too many ideas and way too many things that I'm just not getting enough time. But that's going to change now. So I'm going to have more time to get to the things that I really love to do. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to get this on here. And just make sure there's one more coat on there, and then let it dry. You really do want it to be kind of completely dry before you apply your stencil. And I'm going to show you a little boo-boo that I have on my stencil, and this is the reason why I have it, is because I lost that little blurb in the stencil, so I kept this one for myself, so I didn't send out one that had been missing a piece. So I create all these stencils, or make all of these stencils at home with my Cricut machine. I've shared information about my Cricut machine before, and I've shared how I create the stencils and how I create a lot of these signs prior to this. But this has just kind of become something really fun, and the paint parties are totally just kicking it out there. Everybody's loving it, and I'm loving it too. So I started to tell you guys, I got distracted. The next paint party, the next DIY paint party is February 25th. It's a Sunday afternoon. And then the next one after that is March 4th. And on that particular paint party, you're going to go on to my website and you're going to order your paint party sign, like the project that you want to do. But Ashley Pankratz is also going to be there that day, and she's going to have her wine shop at home. And we're going to be taste testing some wine that day too. So usually whenever I have paint parties, everyone says, why don't you have wine? You should serve wine. And so I asked Ashley, and she's going to come, and she's going to give us some tastings of some of the newer wines. Like, there's some of the ones I haven't had before. So if that's something you're interested in, either one of those dates, those are the next two dates. Next Tuesday is glass etching, and I'm hoping that I can get a video done for you guys before Tuesday of the glass etching. I wanted to do it live sometime, and I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I'm kind of just seeing how things go right now. So it's still a little sticky. Something else you might want to have if you're working on your paint party, your virtual paint party kit, is like some wipes and some paper towels too. And that should just be a given if you're working on painting. So I know this is still kind of sticky, but let's move on to our stencil and how to take it off. Now there's lots of little pieces, like I said, and when I was weeding it, that's when I lost that one. And so I'm just gonna have to do a little bit of work on my own. So if you have your stencil and you're ready to put it on, you want to put it face down. And then you're gonna peel off the backing. And as you're doing that, and that's why I like to put it face down, is because it's easier to hold the stencil down. And as you go along, if anything pops up, let's see, like that one there, you see that popped up there? Just rub it back down. This is when your credit card would come in handy. Rub it back down, and then just keep peeling it. This stencil vinyl is a lot better than when I was using contact paper. That was kind of a pain. Uh-oh. Here's another tip for when things go awry. If you go slow, I was kind of going pretty fast, but if you go slow, you really shouldn't have any troubles. And push that back down, and there we go. So now I have the back off of my stencil, and you might want to let it dry just a little bit more. I'm gonna just go with it just for the sake of time today. If you want to, you can line this up, you can use a ruler. I don't like to do that. I like to just eyeball it. And it should be fairly square, so it will fit on there. And then you'll need your credit card or debit card or old gift card, whatever you have. And then just kind of start from the middle and push out. Get that stencil on there really good. If you have any bubbles, you want to make sure that you work those out, pushing them to the end. You especially want to make sure you don't have any bubbles like around the letters where you're going to be doing your painting. Okay, ready. So, I'm gonna keep rubbing that on there. And then once you think that it's pretty stuck tight on there, you're gonna grab the corner and you're only gonna grab this top piece. And I can't do it because it's not laying down. There you go. So you're only gonna grab this top white transfer tape piece. And you may need to just hold this down a little bit. But if you have to, just go back and rub it. And you know what? The reason why it's not sticking super well is because it's still wet. And this is also very important to make sure that all of the blue stencil stays on your wood. None of it comes up here. And like I said, if you go at, that's kind of a, oh. If you go at a 45-degree angle, then, and you go slow, you can catch some of that. So you might want to let it dry just a little bit longer. Sometimes I kind of like to rub it like that after you get it on there, especially when there's letters. But just go slow and kind of work those little pieces down. Probably the most time-consuming part of this is getting all of these little pieces. And sometimes even if you just pull them and then lay it back down, then there's not so much stress on the stencil. Oops. And try to be careful not to bend it like that. I should have let it dry a little bit more, I think, and things would have stuck so much better. But we'll get it the stencil pulled off of there, and it'll be okay. There we go. Some of those little pieces, like I said, they're gonna kind of come up, but if you pull a little bit, rub them back down, there's not so much stress on the stencil and they'll stay better. Just take it slow and make sure you rub them all down. I should be using this and not my fingers. Keep that corner down. Just keep slowly working at it. And you'll want to make sure that you saved a little bit of white paper or white paint too, and I'll show you guys why. It's my tip that I've shared with you guys before for sign making to make sure that you don't have any bleeding. One of the other struggles that I've had at my paint parties is stain, because, and I think that some of these signs would look really good if you stain them, but stain is super hard to mail. Like I can mail the paint in these little things, but I'm not going to mail stain. So I got some paint, I ordered some that is just a little bit different, and so it gives more of like a stained look. So if that works out, then we might do that. So I got all that off there, and I'm just going to lightly go over this. You don't want to go too hard because it will catch those like that. I'm just going to use my tweezers and okay. Hopefully that's working. Like I said, you just want to make sure that the bubbles around the letters, there I had one, are good and pushed out of there. that really helps you, but there's not any bubbles anywhere. Okay, so then we're ready to get painting. So in order to keep your paint from bleeding underneath the letters, the stencil vinyl works really, really good, but every once in a while you will get some bleeding. And so I still have my paintbrush and I still have a little bit of paint, but I don't want all of that on there. So I'm just gonna kind of dab some of it off. And then I just like to dab it over the stencil, just like so. If you think you might get crazy down here, you might want to put some painter's tape around there. If you guys are really careful and don't get crazy, you shouldn't need to do that. But if you feel like you're gonna make a mess and you need to, go ahead and put some painter's tape along the edge of your stencil. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that at the very end, and it just might be kind of helpful for you if for some reason you're painting along and your stencil goes haywire. It might be a good tip that, so if you have trouble and maybe you accidentally lose one of those pieces, I'll just kind of show you guys how I fix it, and hopefully that will help you in the future too, because mistakes do happen. Things happen sometimes. So I see that we have some new people that are watching. So what this is the virtual paint party for February. So everything that you have seen so far, the wood, the paint, the stencil, the brush, and then these little makeup sponges, comes in a kit that's mailed to you each month. And then we get together here on Facebook Live and paint it. So this was the February kit, and I'll show you the design again for March. So I just kind of went ahead and made sure that I sponged all over everything. It doesn't necessarily need to be super thick, but I do kind of want to make sure that it's covered really good, and I just like to dab it with the same color that you used on the bottom. So whatever base color you use, make sure you use the same color to stencil over that. So here's the March design, You Are My Sunshine. There's gonna be some yellow and some gold paint that's coming with this one. Okay. So we'll let this dry just a little bit more. You can start ordering the March kit on Friday. Everything will be up on my website, and it'll be on my Facebook page. There'll be a graphic that says the March virtual paint kit, and then you can follow the link on how you can order it. And you'll get your board, you'll get your stencil, everything is already done for you. I mean, everything that you've seen me do tonight, that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna get your paint, your paintbrush, your makeup sponge. The things that you are probably going to need are a good pair of tweezers or a needle of some sort, and I'll show you guys. You may have seen me use it a couple of times to move things around, so you might need that. And you just saw why we needed the little gift card. This is one I had from my Bible journaling that was like for painting on things, and I just have it laying around here. And if you want things to be straight and lined up, you might want to grab a ruler too. But all that information will be sent to you when you get your kit, and then you'll have everything that you need to join us for our paint party. So this part of it, you do want to let it dry just a little bit more, and I may have gotten a little carried away with some of the paint, but I think you guys, yeah, you can kind of still see where the letters are, and you'll still be able to see that when you're in person looking at it. I'm going to just paint the edge of this really quick. If you do come to one of my DIY events that's local, this would be your 12 by 12 option of wood. And then if you wanted to get it framed, that's also an option. Let's get just a little bit more. At most of the designs that I have or that I offer do have the framing option too. So I'm just gonna get this taken care of while I still have the white paint out, but not having it framed just like this works perfectly. The reason I like to frame them and what I like about the frames is that then I can just like stand them up. I don't have to hang them on anything. And I'm gonna get white paint all over everything now because I'm having to touch it. Alrighty, so I'm gonna lay that back down. I'm just letting this dry just a little bit longer. And I'm just gonna wipe my fingers off. Alrighty. Okay, so you get two paint options. I mean, they both come in your kit. You don't have to use them. You don't have to use both of them. And I think I'm not going to. I really like this color, this bluish color. So I'm going to use that and put that on here. So I'm not even going to use this. So it might be extra. Maybe you want to blend them together. You do whatever you want. Hello, Mother. I see you there. Okay. So you get quite a bit of paint and you don't need all of that paint. So it's still pretty wet, but I think it's gonna be okay. If you want to let it dry just a little bit longer before you move on to the next step, that's fine. You can do that. I'm using the makeup sponge because that is small enough to dab and you don't have to get like a whole brush out, and we're gonna do a lot of dabbing to get the color on there. So the reason why it's all smushy and painted white like that is because it is sealed. It has sealed our stencil onto the wood, so this color won't bleed out underneath there. But I still recommend that you start with a very, very, very light amount of paint on your sponge. And if you have to, just kind of dab it off like that. And then just go ahead and start dabbing. And it is still too wet. So for the sake of time, for you guys, I am just going to hit this really quick with my heat gun. Get it plugged in. If you have like a hair dryer or something, you could use that too. So I'm just going to quickly heat this. There we go. I didn't get too crazy, but it did kind of give it, I mean, I can see it. I can see where it was. So again, you want to take caution on the edges there, then just start daubing it on there. And if you do a really, really light coat, depending on your color options, you may want to do 2 coats of it. It really just depends. Okay. Oh, shoot, Katie. I made a mess, but that's all right. We'll fix it. And then just make sure that you cover up all of the stencil or all of the letters and you don't miss anything. That's one of the worst parts of doing that white on there, is you can't always see you can't always see where the letters are. But if you look closely, you should be able to kind of see a faint outline of it. I'm going to be really careful right there because I don't want it to go over the stencil. But if you wanted to, you put some painter's tape on there and it's good. It'll be good to go. Okay. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this, and hopefully we get a few more people to join us. I don't see any of our January painters on here tonight, and I know that's probably because I was supposed to do this last night, but I didn't get home in time. Or not January, February. It is February, even though I'm still behind. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Does anybody have any plans for Valentine's Day? Unfortunately, Greg has school board tomorrow, so we did our Valentine's tonight. We had steak and shrimp, and so we celebrated today. This really kind of seems like this is a big, a big project. Taking a little bit more time than what I'm used to, but I want to make sure that I get all those letters, and it is a little bit more words than I've been doing in the past. So I want to just like look at it and make sure that I have everything covered. I don't know if you guys can kind of see where some of the words are. I want to make sure that I get them all because I don't want to miss anything and then peel up my stencil and go, oh, I forgot about that. So I may even just go like word by word. But really the white and this like greenish turquoise color are kind of good. I don't think I'm gonna need two coats. That's one thing when you have your stencil on there, it is kind of deceiving. Like you think it doesn't look dark enough, but when you peel the stencil off, you can see it pretty good. So let's see. Make sure I get that one. Uh-oh, I blooped a little bit. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. I got most of it. Maybe some of that best right there. Okay. Perfect. Hey Terry, thanks for joining me. We are painting the, this is the February, I keep wanting to say January, but this is the February virtual paint party. So that looks like a big old blob to you right now. If you are just joining me, you're probably going, what in the world is she doing? I'm going to just make sure I have this whole thing covered. And so I kind of need to look at it. And because some of that white, I see that's probably what happened, is some of that white wasn't 100% dry down there. So okay. And I think that one. I just don't want to peel this up and go, oh my gosh, I missed a big chunk. Okay, so we got all that painted. Close that up before I make a mess. And I'm just gonna let it dry just a little bit. I'm gonna touch that up right now while I have my white still out, my little bloobs on that. Hopefully you guys didn't see that. You didn't see my mistakes. Once you do this part, you don't need to let it completely dry. In fact, you don't want it to be all the way dry because it could peel up some of your white paint underneath, and then it would cause a disaster. So you don't need to let it dry very long at all. And in fact, I'm gonna start peeling it up already. but you're going to want to be careful. So you're going to want to make sure that the paint you have on this side of your stencil doesn't get to your board. Okay, look at that. Shoot, that one came up. So I'm going to have to probably do a little bit of... Yeah, I'm going to have to do a lot of touching up because I didn't wait long enough for my white paint to dry. And... Alrighty, taking it off, and so you're probably starting to see some of the design. Oh, dang it. You see some of those parts that peeled up the white paint. And you guys, that was just because I didn't let the white paint dry all the way. I got into too big of a hurry. And this is where you're going to want your very sharp tweezers or some sort of pin, and then you're going to be able to barely see those little inside pieces. Remember all those pieces that we didn't want to lose before? Now we want to get rid of them. So we're going to pick them out of there and do so carefully. Oh, I am so disappointed that it's not working. Well, we'll do some touch-ups and maybe we'll just go with this distressed look. So, things like this just happen. It's kind of a bummer, but we'll make it work. We'll just have to do some touch up with a fine point brush. Because otherwise this is fun. If I can grab these little pieces off of there. Make sure I get them without making a big mess. That's why you need your wipes or something. I'm getting paint everywhere. And this is another tedious part of getting all of this off of there. Okay. Make sure that we don't miss anything. Now remember, this part was the part that I was missing because of, I was missing it on the stencil. So I'm going to have to go back with my white anyway and a smaller paintbrush and fix that. Get all these little pieces out. I'm looking at next month and seeing, do we have a lot of little pieces that are going to be so tedious for you guys? But I don't think so. There's lots of big chunks for that one. It's just going to be easy. I think this is the last word. We're going to get that one off of there. Hopefully the heat didn't. So I guess you guys are learning a few little tips and tricks with me, that you need to make sure your base coat is good and dry. Oh, shoot, you guys, that's the one there. There wasn't one there. And I just told you that. Okay, so now we need some paint brushes so that I can just kind of fix this up. But if you've had better luck than me, then your sign would be done. And it would be ready to be hung, just like so. So I'm going to start with the turquoise. And I'm just going to use a very, very fine point. And I'm just going to kind of have to freehand some of it. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, that's okay. But I just want to make sure that this gets done. I don't want to leave it like this. That brush isn't going to work. It's frayed all. So I'm just gonna fix this up, and then that will be the end of my sign. And I'll go through, I will show you guys this little white part there that I knew that I needed to fix ahead of time. And I'm just gonna kind of wing it to what it looks like inside some of these other ones. Okay, all right, so for the most part, we're done. I'll just do my little touch-ups of the things that needed to be taken care of, and that is our virtual paint party for February. So again, this was the project that we did for February. This is the one that you will get to do for March. If you want to sign up, all of that information will be available on Friday. So thank you guys for watching me and hanging out with me tonight and painting with me. For those of you who have your kit and are painting at home, the rest of you, if you missed out and it's something you want to do next month, then let me know and I'll make sure that you get the information to order yours on Friday. All right, everybody, have a great evening and happy Valentine's Day tomorrow.